Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Zoobox, a podcast about nonsense, much of which you're about to hear. This is episode 100. And for such an auspicious occasion, this only happens once in the history of Zoobox. We only get 100. We decided to do a live stream, and we were late, but not forgotten. Yeah, we wanted to make sure everybody could be here. So we pushed it to Monday.
I work on weekends a lot.
Yeah, he does.
You look like you work.
I look like do I
What the
feel
fuck kind of
shit,
like that's like a weird put down. Yeah, you look like you work, buddy. You look like you work,
You
man.
look lifeless. Just lifeless.
Life's
Just,
draining, man. But it's
life
good.
is
It's
draining.
good for you.
yeah, it is.
Suffer.
I even brought out lighting and everything for this, you know?
This is a big deal.
This is a big time. Number 100. You know, we've come a long way.
Yeah, we've reached syndication levels. Like if we were a mediocre sitcom, this is the only thing that the network would want us to do is get to 100 so they could sell our episodes to TBS to be played at 2 a.m.
I mean,
imagine if the whole cast did a podcast before the episode.
Oh my god,
that would really reel them in.
It's gotta be a terrible time to be
Sean.
like. There's like no free time.
Sean, you can't go see that IMAX on that date.
Yeah, I can.
I'm off.
We
should all go together.
Well, I'm not gonna be there that weekend.
What do you mean?
And then
what is the 6th?
The 6th is my birthday.
Okay, but what is the day?
I'm going to be gone that weekend, and then it'll be another week or so before I would ever have a chance to go see it.
Oh, so what would that be?
Everybody's like super excited to see the new James Bond.
Yeah, man. I mean, good, cool director. It's a long movie. I'm down for a long movie, so I'm excited. I like Skyfall. Yeah. Skyfall is long. I like Skyfall.
That's your measurement. But like, Skyfall
there's
been several films that I've enjoyed.
Bond, Daniel Craig Bond.
Wait, you're gonna say what? Casino Royale is number 1%? I still can't get over that scene where he's in the fucking chair, where they cut the hole out of the bottom, the wicker chair, and just boom, and you're like.
Prophet's in the chat. Hey, what's up, Prophet? He says, you do episode 100 on a platform where I can't send lemons. Great job, guys. Yeah, no, we had to do it official. We're not dirty, skeevy D-livers tonight. We're all original. That's my world. I live in the lemon world. I live in the lemon economy. I'm over there sniping at trans people. I'm sniping at feminists. I'm sniping at SJWs. I'm trying to get those lemons.
Okay, listen.
Are you like Eric Weinstein?
Basically like times 10.
Did you guys hear about this Gabby chick up in Wyoming? The
one that
Instagram
went missing?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
well, they're
sad,
a
but
couple.
They found her body. That's all I heard.
Listen.
YouTubers found it, according to Dan's favorite YouTuber, The Quartering. YouTube is more useful than the federal government.
Well, I think I mean,
there's probably truth to that, but
I don't think it's just about manpower. What that's just really what it is. Like if you got 10,000 people online dedicated.
Well, yeah, especially since they're all at that fucking January the 6th rally. All the feds.
I apparently.
No wonder they didn't find her.
I thought I kind of been looking into the case, but it kind of brought me into another sphere. So there's this documentary called 411. It came out in 2018, and it's all about these missing kids at these national parks, like up in Montana, Wyoming, and it's kind of creepy because most of these kids, they just disappear without a trace. I mean, they really do. And then they made 411 Hunted, which is in 2020, I think it came out. And it's pretty crazy the amount of people that all go missing. And they don't have a national registry for the parks. So that means you go missing and at one park and then it's not centralized. So this is like a really crazy event. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 10,000 people have gone missing in the past X amount of years or whatever, the 50, 60, 70 years. And no one finds these people. Like a lot of them never are found.
They're being eaten by Sasquatch.
Yeah, getting eaten by a fucking bear.
Well, but that's the thing though. So like most of these people that go missing are elderly, super young children, or they are autistic.
It must be
Some
vampires.
Of them. Well, it's super weird because I'm not doing it justice. I'm not saying it's even a great documentary. It's just the premise itself is so creepy, because if you were running like like some sort of government program, right? Or no, I mean like you could be aliens.
If you were a sex trafficker, this would be a good place to get some R's.
It would be some hard R's, you know.
You find them out there.
Not the racial epithet kind. But like you have to sit there and like you think about it, man, because when you go camping, like I'm telling you, some of these stories, like they find they go, for like one was like a 3-year-old kid, right? Everyone's relatively close to him within 50 yards, and the kid disappears, right? And they're all looking. Hundreds of people come out. They got helicopter, right? But I think it's something like they found his clothes like so far away from the location, and they were not torn up. There was no blood.
Oh, there's probably some. Some of those cases at least are people like literally stealing children or stealing people.
No, right, but these are in like so they have to carry a gun. They have to meet certain criteria for it to be considered like a 411 case, I guess. Like this documentary, they all had similar circumstances, basically vulnerable people.
So you're saying there's a serial?
No, they don't lead to the government. They don't say anything about the government. They don't, they like one guy's like, well, of course it's aliens, man. Like we're near, there's always that one, but it was one clip. But you sit there and you go, man, if you were going to run a organization of,
aliens.
No, like taking people, period. You would obviously do it in very remote, camping locations or like when people are usually like alone, hunting, doing these types of things. Like this would be a prime opportunity because there is no national registry. There is no way all these places are centralized and they don't even report them correctly. So it's pretty cool. It's just a crazy thing I never heard of until recently. But it makes you kind of think, like how many people do just disappear and they're never found?
Nationwide?
Because we've talked about the kids before. It's something like 800,000 kids go missing a year.
Yeah, those are like conflated with like.
I thought it was like 2,000.
No, it's a lot.
It's conflated with people who are just reporting a missing child.
Yeah, but the real number, the real number floats somewhere. It's like 250,000 to 300,000. It's still like a substantial amount of people.
Now listen, I've already explained to you guys many a times how the state is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Okay? No, but okay, so you look at like MK Ultra. We know that existed, right? Like MK Ultra was, and like COINTELPRO and all these really weird, shady government organizations, or how these organizations acted on behalf of the federal government, and what lengths they were willing to go to conceal some of that stuff. I always point back to the Marilyn Manson and that guy that was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He wrote a book on a lot of this stuff. Like they were probably involved with the government on some level. At least Marilyn Manson was, or Charles Manson, excuse me. And why would they not? If they wanted to do test subjects, why wouldn't the government use a very wide open space to just snatch up people every now and then?
It's a pretty crazy thing to consider, Dan. The government's just body snatching people.
Not really.
I mean, dude, they did it though. We've done this before.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but don't you think there'd be some leaks? Like
tens of thousands?
This would have gotten out?
Well, this is the question. So, like, okay. For example,
is this a jump you're making or the documentary makes?
No, this is me.
This is just me.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, don't you think like with the other one, like there were people, there were subjects, there were the agents, there were.
No, for sure. That's the main question. I think for a lot of people when you bring up a conspiracy, right? Like a conspiracy, you say, what is a conspiracy? It's a couple people, a group of people come together and conspire against another group of people for a motive or for some sort of end goal. I I mean, what would the possibilities be? And I think, yeah, you would think there would be a leaker, right? Well, these guys are held to, like, why don't we ever hear, like, other people in government? Yeah, they write books, you know, they do certain things, but, like, you don't really see behind the veil as often as people would like, because if you do, like that Rolling Stone reporter, the guy from the Rolling Stones, dude, his car, he was working on a big story. He was the one that like basically spoke out against the government. I believe he directed a documentary called Dirty Wars. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the same guy.
Well, he was associated with Jeremy Scahill, who was
the producer director guy.
Well, he wasn't. He was like the star of it, but yeah, and he worked for the Intersects, right?
But is that the JSOC one?
Joint Special Operations Command.
Did they talk about JSOC?
Mm-hmm. Admiral McRaven and all those guys. Yeah, they were basically doing night raids.
How do you feel about JSOC? Is that cool or not cool?
I mean,
you a big JSOC guy?
I think, yeah. You know, look at my hat, dude. I fit the bill. You know, if
I know, look at this guy. He's like, this guy's like, he glows in the dark, boys. I mean, he's over there. He's like, oh no, I'm an anarchist and I believe all these things. And he's over here. Look what he's wearing on his head. He's winking at you and he's telling you that you're a fool. You're a rube.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you guys, like, the funny part would be is that I would be very easily able to do this type of work. So I mean, you can make that up.
It's just like, you know, you just think what you will. Just think what you will about this.
I mean, listen, if people ask, like, how do I survive? Well, you know, I do various things for certain people, and, you know, I get things done. Yeah. You know, that's just who I am.
You do what you got to do.
They call me Kobe for a reason, dude. I never miss, you know? Got that Black Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Like, I just thought it was a cool concept. Like, why are all these people really going missing? How often, and how many millions of people go to these parks a year? So how rare is this? You know, but if you were going to run, like, an operation, to have a black, because, like, listen, the CIA has black sites all over the world, right? Like, they do. We know they do.
Yeah.
And that's pretty apparent. So why wouldn't they be running some sort of black ops operation out here in the United States? Like, why would that not be something that the federal government or the intelligence agencies would do?
Oh, they 100% do. I mean, that's like, don't you think that is kind of what, like, the infiltration of fucking, like, all of these message boards and stuff? That could totally be that.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying,
like one of those guys.
Listen,
looks
you
like
know,
he's working for the feds.
I will never say I am.
A perfect mouthpiece.
Yeah, dude,
man. You need a perfect mouth.
I look like a white supremacist. I look like this. I look like that. You know,
you're an anarchist. You reel
I'm balding, like, just trying to hold on.
Man. Fuck the government, right?
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I would sell every single one of you out if they said they could fix my hair. I would do it. I'd be like,
that's all it would take.
I don't know. I'm just saying that to me, look into it. It's on Hulu if you have Hulu. 411 and 411 Hunted. They're both they're not great documentaries. It's just a concept that's really interesting. But like, most people think it's animals. Most people think it's, you know, people just fall in a ravine or something.
What do you think it is, Dan?
Well, the cool thing about some of these
government body snatching them.
No, but the question is, like, so a 3-year-old in very rough terrain, walking approximately 12 to 16 miles.
He tumbles approximately 72 times down the hill.
I mean, it's somewhere in this range where he had to walk at least 8, or he had to have walked at least like 12. Like, there was like all this weird. They show the map.
12 miles?
Yeah, like in very rough terrain. So you got to ask yourself, okay, why they found his shoe a year later? The same 3-year-old.
Yeah.
On this, like, face of a cliff, whatever, and it was brand new. The shoe looked brand new. And then they found his sweatpants folded inside out, like 30, 40 feet away, but no body, no skeleton, nothing.
So
So
it's just a local prankster just planting stuff.
I mean, I guess anything's possible, right?
That'd be the
I
ultimate
just-
prank, wouldn't it?
Well, if you were gonna do some sort of like black, like whether like black site, like black magic, whatever, like why wouldn't you? That would be a prime real estate, dude. Prime real estate to snatch up a person. Some guy's out hunting by himself. Easy.
If Mike tried to body snatch someone with those dirty hands, he'd get caught right away.
No, these are stained. They're not. No one's ever gonna see these.
Mike, how much money?
Looks like you have poo on those hands, dude.
Mike, how much money would it like for you to be put into like a Hunger Games, like a Running Man situation? How much money would it take for you
for me to do the Hunger Games?
Yeah, like something similar to that.
Do I get like a guaranteed
500 million?
500 million? That's what you're saying? 500 million?
That's a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah, dude. Like, well, with inflation, it might not be that much.
but still a lot. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
Still
well,
chilling.
because I have to like, if I'm gonna take that chance, like I'm gonna leave my kids, like if I die, like, who's gonna be in it? Like, what kind of people are gonna be in there with me? Like,
Just-
Other
it's
desperate
like-
people trying to win $500 million.
I know,
just
but like,
you.
what are like their skill sets?
They're
No,
gonna be
that's the
just
thing, you
regular
don't know.
folks, dude. Just
Yeah,
people
so
like
that
you.
would
It's
take me.
whoever-
That's why I'm saying 500 million, because there's a good chance I could die.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you volunteer as tribute, that's more money.
Yeah.
And then if I do win, then I'll be setting my family up forever.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
live with the elite.
so if you're gonna if you're gonna say, let's be more realistic. Let's say 5 million. Okay,
No.
the 500 million. Oh, let's just say 5 million. It's one
I
night
wouldn't
of your
do it.
life.
I would not do it.
You
that
have
way.
you have 12 hours, and after those 12 hours, or let's say 24 hours, you have a 5 square mile area. It could be a town. It could be whatever. It could be anything in this area. It'd be like
5 miles to fuck around in.
Yeah, 5 miles to fuck
How many
around in.
people?
But if you're still alive at the end, of those 24 hours,
Yeah.
You win.
you win. You don't win. Like, let's say there's like 5 people left.
Go to round
Then-
two.
Then all of a sudden, we set the forest on fire in a circle, and then
We create zones.
and then we slowly
Check a
bring it in.
map, you can
We'll
find
be
out where
dropping
the
like
next zone will
napalm
be.
and shit, dude. Like,
Yeah, there's like a really high, and
Alright,
there's
well, what
only
if I
one
did-
winner. Like your chances of winning are very slim.
What if I put you on an estate? and I
Like you
put
could
in
just
a
get fucked up
box?
from a napalm. You get fucked up from the fire. Like you
okay,
may
but
not
Mike,
even get fucked up
okay,
from
Mike,
somebody
if our
else.
country was getting attacked, would you do it? Would you go fight for your country?
Yeah,
Okay. There you go.
this is different. What do you mean?
That's the same thing, dog.
The
That's
Hunger
the same
Games.
thing.
It's not
Hey,
the-
you get paid less, and you.
Well, no, it
you
would
die.
depend. Like, what do you mean attack? Like we're having people like on our homeland attacking us?
And the only way that
I don't think you'd even need to join the
the
military.
only way that they'll stop is if we do a Hunger Games with that country. That's the only way that they'll
Oh, shit.
yield.
Oh shit.
No, dude, it's gonna be China versus America pretty soon here.
You're gonna be
don't
going
know.
up against super soldiers, man.
Let's catch up with the chat real quick. Prophet says, Sean, I think you need to expose these dudes to Edgewood Little Zay. It'll blow Dan's mind. I tried to. Those videos are age restricted, and we cannot watch them in the watch together. So we cannot watch those tonight, but we'll be
Ridiculous.
catching up on those in the next Nightcap episode. Paul's dropped by. Big Paul, he says, happy 100,
What up, Paul?
gents. He says, in this episode, will Dan finally admit he's a deep state actor trying to gain confidence in alt-right internet land? Will Michael admit UFC
no.
fighters kind of turn him on? Will Ryan fess up to sleeping every episode? And will Sean
wish I
finally
was.
admit to getting jabbed? So much suspense.
Oh shit!
I mean, hey, I okay. Is there anything in this world right now that would make you get it? Like not force,
I did
but
get
like
it.
if there was something on the you
Which
did?
one did
I
you
got
get?
it. Yeah, I got Johnson & Johnson.
Oh nice.
Oh, you did. For
Yeah.
Just for shits and gigs, or
Well, I don't have a problem with it, so I was never
Sean,
really.
we're gonna have to fucking drag you in the town hall and hang you from a tree.
and that's a one shot, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it
that's the
Johnson?
one shot. It's not the mRNA. So I decided to go
But
with
it
that.
is still.
It's-
I
It is
don't
still-
know.
It's still
That's
what it
probably
is.
the one I'd get.
It is still mRNA.
Still, a lot of people have got. Actually, I've heard a lot of people got that.
The reason why I ended up getting it was
Sweet.
because of anticipating having to argue with my son's school about masks. And I don't want to be dismissed for any reason, because I'm going to go in there like an animal if that happens.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. And for me, it wasn't an ethical thing because I don't really have a problem with it. And I don't like, my lifestyle doesn't really require me to have one. It's not like I'm trying to do things that I need to get this for.
Well, I thought you just said you were doing it to go to. No offense, I'm not like calling you out, but I thought you said you got it so you didn't have to deal with the school.
No, it's if I have to argue, if I have to advocate for my son, when it comes to like masking and stuff, I am not going to allow them to dismiss me as like some sort of anti-vax kook. Like that was my kind of thinking.
So it's more of a tactical.
It's more of it was more of a tactical decision. That's why I got it done. It's not because I felt like I needed it. Like I have COVID. I've had it twice. I'm pretty sure I was in the clear. Foster's had COVID. I mean, right now, his fucking class is in digital. They're quarantined right now.
According to Israel, you're the most protected of all people.
That's what they say. That's what the studies say. But anyways, they're already.
They didn't have Johnson & Johnson Israel.
Yeah, but like the combination of vaccinated and previous infection had the most protection.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so you feel that this was necessary to be able to facilitate a good relationship with the school for your son at the most egregious.
You're paying.
It's just trying to get ahead of that like argument. Yeah, basically.
So what are you going to do would you feel comfortable with them advocating or mandating for your children?
No.
Your child? No. So what is your main concern as far as I don't
want them to be wearing masks for 8 hours a day in school.
No, I know. But let's say, okay, no more masks, they'll tell you. But everyone has to be vaccinated to go to the school. Would you be comfortable?
No, I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take on the risk myself to be able to go have that argument. That's the way I looked at it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's wrong, right, or indifferent. I think everybody should do what they want to do.
You're in a good spot. I feel like a lot of people would support that notion. So
not too cool, but yeah.
I don't.
No, but the parents can dictate.
Paul said, "I got double jabbed by Pfizer because I want to make sure I'm sterile, and the thought of dying within 5 years was also enticing." That's just a bonus.
Well, I mean, I guess the real question is then when does it stop? Because that's what I keep asking myself. Like, when is it over? Why are they Ryan and I? Well, is it power? Is it incompetency? Is it this? Because Mike, your kids are not required, right, to do that or mask or any of that stuff, right?
Mm-mm.
So, have they had many breaks because of outbreaks? Have they just dealt with it like any other type of seasonal allergy?
Yeah. Well, basically, the rule is if you are sick, you stay home.
Actually, I heard that they're changing.
So
if you test negative within 5 days as a kid, you can come back within 8 days.
That's what they said because Foster was sick.
So I think that's official now.
Well, yeah, but that's just not the way his school's doing it. We actually got a notice just tonight that it is now 2 days longer because somebody else also from his class tested positive. But Foster actually got a test and tested negative. Because we took him to the pediatrician because he was sick, and I actually got what he had. Like I was deathly
school sickness.
I was deathly fucking ill over the weekend, and
that's just natural school sickness,
yes,
right?
Yeah, and that shit's going
germs
exactly, and that's what's going on in most of the schools right now. So lots of kids are sick this time of year, and especially coming off of a year where everybody was kind of like not going out and doing much. So I think that exacerbates things. But I am going to call the nurse tomorrow after I got that message. I was like, what is your policy? Like, what are you talking about? Like, if a kid is not showing symptoms or gets a test and it says negative, you put them back in fucking school. Like, what are you doing to these kids? This is ridiculous, especially with a 4K. Virtual learning for 4K is ridiculous. It's just a complete waste of time. And they do it. It's perfunctory because they have to do it. to appease the state's like demands for school time.
Yeah, how does even a kid that age even look at a screen for any amount of time?
Well, luckily it's only like 30 minutes. Luckily, it's like a 30-minute a day thing, and then you do like whatever the class work was, and you like send pictures to the teacher to show that you did them. But it's just like, I don't like, I am lucky to be in a situation where this was not like a fucking world-shattering thing that Foster has to stay home.
Yeah, because if you both had jobs.
But people that fucking work, they notified, they told everybody 6 p.m. the night before, and just said, yeah, your kids can't come to school.
You were supposed to go back that day or the following day?
Yeah, and they sent out a text and an email, and that said, the next day.
Do you think some kids are excited about that because they get 2 days off of school?
Well, they got more than 2 days, dude. It's like 2.5.
Like, say you live in a sick house, right? And like your parents are like, you don't have to wear a mask.
I'm not saying that it's not cool.
Around,
I'm not saying it's not cool for kids
playing Halo 3.
Yeah, but so this is the question, I guess, is what kind of society are we living in right now?
Florida's completely different. Like, if you're sick, you just stay home. I don't think they even require you to take a test to go back. Maybe they do, but
no, it's not usually not a test. If you're not symptomatic, you're not symptomatic. Yeah. I mean, we kept Foster home the day before they did this because he was sick. So I just kept him home. I was like, this would really suck. And then having it over the weekend, I would even more so. That would have really sucked if I had sent him to school like that.
And then they put a fucking mask on him.
They put a mask on him, and it's just chaos. And I have to go in there and fucking karate fight everybody.
It is it's crazy.
But like, crazy. There's no standards, and this is not based on science or anything, especially because they're like
based on power.
Well, because if you have siblings that also go to the school that my kid goes to, and they live in the house with a quarantined kid, they can still go to school. They actually explicitly said that. So you're like, so why does this kid have to? So why does it doesn't make any rational sense. They're just doing it to do it. It's so weird. It's such just horseshit.
Is it a dance, an opera?
It feels like it. But dude, this is the second time. He's only been in school for like 2 months.
How many days has he been in school though? Like actually been in school.
So are these actually COVID breakouts? Like people had COVID in his class?
That's what they said. 2 kids tested positive.
Oh, okay.
Well, can other classes go to school?
Yes.
Oh, so it's just their class.
No, it's just their class that's quarantined.
Are there any other classes that are out?
There might be. I'm not sure because, like I said, this
should give you access to that.
This is the second time that this has happened already. So basically, he's gonna have spent as much time out of school as in school by the time this period ends, and it's so obnoxious.
I mean, and it really, you know what? End of this, right?
And it really fucks my week up, guys. I was golden. Okay, I was getting work done. I was talking to Maverick in the morning. Like, now it's all gone. Take it away from me.
Here's the thing. Is this all coming to an end?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. There's been a lot of more of just like because all the FDA shut down the booster.
Yeah, but you got to remember,
which is important.
They constrict.
Yeah,
then they depressurize. That is how this is how these systems work, man.
No, you're not wrong.
They want to make you feel like things are getting better.
To the damn deep state. He's telling you what they're gonna do.
No, I mean, listen. I
got inside information.
I had a friend that works at a federal agency call me, and
you totally work for the deep state, buddy.
I know, bud. I know.
It's a cliche.
No, but
I have a friend.
I do have a friend.
My sources say.
I said to him, hey, like I think I'm an anarchist now, and he's like, I can't talk to you, like, bye, basically. And I was just kind of like, damn, that fucking hit me, And then maybe a few days ago, this same person calls me back, and they're like, dude, you were kind of right, like, yeah, it's getting kind of fucking wild out here. And he just the
a lot of cans of beans.
Like there's a lot of people within these agencies that do not feel comfortable with the direction that the administrative state.
They're complicit.
They are, and this is why Project Veritas had part 1 of their whistleblower leak from the Human and Health Services (HHS). Kind of interesting. I don't know if we should get into the details because
really?
fucking YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really need
bad.
to take any chances. But I'll say some of the things in there where you have doctors who, are like, what the fuck is going on? Like this fucking, this particular substance is bullshit. It's not effective. It's not like basically like, and it cause danger to people.
It's funny because in the documentary you hear like the birth of the idea of them going to Project Veritas. She's like, "You ever heard of Project Veritas?" Because they're trying to figure out how to oust the story.
Somebody else. That was somebody.
No, I know,
else.
but that's probably someone above her.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, but
she might just not want to be named.
I mean, maybe, and maybe not at this moment. But the question is, if the administrative state has some sort of end goal, what is it? Like, what is the end goal here? Listen, can we all admit that we're at a stage where we should be able to live pretty relatively normally? I would say.
Yeah,
especially children.
No, like, I think, but that's the new fight right now. It's not really about all the other things anymore. Now it's suddenly become about saving kids again, and it's all about kids, and it's all about whether kids should have masks in school or not. Well, they're the most vulnerable now because they can't get vaccinated, and it's this big fucking game. They just shift the goalposts constantly.
The vaccinated from the unvaccinated.
It's a big fucking game, and what is
what's the end?
What's the end goal? I think it is in a large part just to demoralize you into compliance, and go after the thing that people care about the most. That's their kids. That's what, and you're gonna see. And that's why you're seeing people freak out. People are freaking out across the nation about whether it's masking and COVID stuff or it's like CR critical race theory stuff in schools. At least people are waking up and like trying to push back in the ways that they can. I don't know if it's actually going to do anything. I have no idea. I think it does on a local level if you go and tell a school board like, yo, we're going to fucking oust you if you don't.
Yeah, they ousted some guy in some county.
But at the same time, you're seeing like how some of these like the teachers union, how these lobbyist groups, how they operate, because now they're operating out in the open. They contradict themselves. Like it's all fucking crazy. You watch them collude in real time, especially with the CDC and the teachers union.
We're just gonna have to do what they did in the Bible. Move to the free places.
Oh, yeah.
Move. You gotta move.
We should all just migrate to Mexico.
That's what they did in the Bible. They just moved.
Well, a bunch of Mexicans just came over here, so there's probably some free space over there. Well, Haiti, people from Haiti, I guess.
Come to Florida.
No, but they're getting deported, though.
Well, at least in the county I live in, it's pretty conservative here, and it's completely. I mean, they don't require anything.
They're getting deported out of a Texas airport as soon as they cross.
Dude, there's 12,000 people underneath an overpass.
No, Haitians.
It's 20 now. It's 20,000.
Haitians.
Those are the Haitians.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do
all
that.
Haitians?
Most of them, yeah.
Well, it's like I think it's like
shitting me.
No, it's like 70% or something now.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's 20,000.
Dude, it's wild. If you go watch the footage, it's like a little third world country over there.
Yeah,
well, it's funny
footage.
because they can go back and forth, so people will go walk back into Mexico, buy food, buy supplies, and then walk
camping,
back.
Man.
No,
pretty much.
I understand. We have to ask ourselves some serious questions. Like I think about what place we are, and we have to be like realistic in our expectations, which I may not have the most realistic expectations of the American people. What is the goal by allowing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people into our country that are going to be able to blend in, and just get work visas? And it's going to be interesting to see. Go ahead, Mike.
No. I know. I can answer that question.
Okay.
It's because we want to keep up with China and India. They have way more people.
I agree.
Than us.
I think that's actually a big part of it.
Yeah, we're moving in a slave class to keep our GDP up.
Yeah, but we'll rise. We won't be slaves.
No, but like
well, we're just not going to have fucking work. You think it's going to demoralize?
Yeah, but Ryan will, because you got to be educated to do what Ryan does.
Well, that's true.
I'm fucked, but there's something to be said.
And you can't.
Ryan will rise up.
I do agree. This is something about some sort of next phase of this next industrial era of history.
Yeah.
And my greatest fear is that we are drumming, like, because the question is, why do they want you on green energy? You know, what is the main effect that green energy? One, green energy is not reliable. Like, we know that green energy is not a sustainable, reliable resource that will power most people's homes.
What about nuclear energy? I thought that's green energy.
No, well, nuclear is considered more green probably than anything. So, like, instead of I don't understand what the goal is.
Sure.
Outside of, we're trying to be like, okay, they're legitimately trying. Well, if they're legitimately trying to save the planet, let's say there is like some cataclysmic event we're not aware of.
Yeah, and
green energy.
You haven't seen the commercial from Tide? Cold water wash. You haven't seen the commercial from Tide? You can get detergent for cold water now.
Wow, it's all there.
Energy saving, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the question is, what is going to be the what is the goal here? Because if green energy is not the solution, I mean, I think
it's also to constantly keep the populace destabilized. You're never going to have enough juice to do what you want to do, and if that becomes a government mandate or regulated that way, you're going to have like these, like, say, rolling lockdowns. Like, what would be a good reason to do that?
Like, well, then they can have a legit argument to shut down.
They're going to outlaw my car.
Well, maybe.
They're not going to let me drive around that diesel for much longer.
Well, they're saying by 2035 they want to be carbon neutral or carbon negative, which is impossible. It's impossible to do. You can't do it.
Greta Thunberg is going to lead the way. She's going to be the tip of the spear. She's going to fucking...
Just have her throw a fucking Trump wig on. She'll get us all.
She looks like kind of like Hitler.
Probably
She's got some Hitler vibes. I don't know. She's just cold looking. She just gives me Hitler vibes. I'm sorry. I mean,
granddaughter or something.
I don't know her, but she gives me some weird, creepy vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's just propaganda by some company or some whatever.
Well, no. It's her parents are actors. They're all involved in activism and whatnot. She obviously is on the spectrum. It's in some capacity. You could see that when she's publicly speaking. She's got a lot of tics and stuff. Seems like she has a lot of problems.
Called her mentally retarded.
Did he?
Remember he called her like mentally challenged or mentally retarded. Like she said a no thing, and like the Democrat like that he was talking against on Fox News was like, "Oh, how dare you?
How dare you speak about a child this way?"
Yeah. Yeah, the defense to children, unless it's abortion, then we can hold off.
This gaming dragon says, "Yo, what's up, this gaming dragon?"
Her and Leo should spearhead and solve the environment.
Dude,
they should invent jets that clean the environment.
Yeah, like scrubbers. Yeah.
So if we could invent jets that took away all the bad air. Because the millionaires all fly jets all the time. We could cure it.
You're like a Steve Jobs, Ryan. You're like, listen, make it fucking smaller. I don't know how you're gonna do it.
If we could just make planes, commercial planes, private planes, just suck bad air and just make it disappear.
Yeah, make it clean. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if we could only do that.
There's just a bunch of thousands and thousands of air filters flying in the air at all times.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea.
Oh my god!
A giant HEPA air filter up there.
Will do it. Listen, if this happens, and I have the documents.
Does anyone just find it hilarious that like this is? I don't think people realize that we are already in like a caste system. Like it's here, dude. Like, and this is going to facilitate this more and more.
We're in a caste system.
Well, okay. Is there a way to move up in a caste system? Yes.
Yeah.
But look at
not in like a real caste
look at the Met Gala. All the workers are masked, and then everybody else like they're low
class. Look at the Emmys. Look at the Emmys.
The Emmys, yeah, the Emmys, all these big things. They're living stuff completely normal. LA County put out a response to Seth Rogen, and basically, because Seth Rogen said, "Oh, I can't believe we're in here with COVID and no masks and this and that." And LA County said, "Oh, well, they didn't break any of the rules because we have special permits for production and television film.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like they have all these things insulated so these people can continue to make wealth. Look at all the entertainers and sports stars.
Well, they're all exempt. Well, at least I know entertainers like for like comedians and stuff like that, because it's been a topic recently. They're exempt from having to have the vaccine, but they could play shows where everybody that comes to the show has to be vaccinated.
Fucking ridiculous.
And Tim Pool kind of, poked Tim Dillon online, like, he's like, hey man, like I don't agree with what they did in Texas, so should I just not perform in Texas anymore? It is kind of a dirty thing, it really is. Like these guys are out there to make money. I don't bag them for that. Like they don't have to be loyal or
but if they want people, if they're gonna make money off of people getting vaccinated, then they should be vaccinated.
Listen, I don't know.
That's fucking bullshit. Why are they the only ones that that don't have to?
Well,
be?
I think the hypocrisy comes with like somebody like, if you wanted to call it that, with somebody like Tim Dillon or Joe Rogan or whatever. It's like they are in positions where they could cancel their shows. They could, and
Joe
they'd be fine.
offered refunds,
and he offered refunds, which is good for him.
I don't know what the contracts, man.
Like
you sign contracts.
No, and I understand that to a certain degree.
But here's the thing: why? If you're like in New York or something, so you're telling me Joe Rogan doesn't have to get vaccinated, but all the people that attend the show in New York have to be vaccinated?
So yes, especially in New York City, yes.
But why doesn't he have to be vaccinated?
Haven't these classes always had special privileges?
Yeah, well,
that's a bullshit privilege.
No, it's hypocritical privilege. Is what it is.
Like that. But Hollywood's hypocritical.
No,
not just in relation to COVID, but just
the point is that we shouldn't even be arguing about that. We shouldn't even have to talk about this. We should just ignore these things.
Oscar's so white, bro.
People should just protest going to Joe Rogan, not to protest Joe Rogan, but to protest New York. Joe Rogan's not necessarily the bad guy. Neither is Tim Dillon in a respect.
But if you are a person that can actually do something, and you actually kind of publicly speak in one direction, and then de facto actually support the things you speak against by what you sign on to. I mean, that's I think it's fair to criticize that. I'm not saying that it's not complicated or more nuanced, but I do understand where the criticism comes from.
That Madison Square Garden date that's a pretty hard thing to get, I imagine. And
no, of course,
probably a lot of infrastructure, a lot of build.
When you did the deal, those mandates,
those things weren't there.
They weren't. They weren't. No, and I understand that.
Yeah, but the contract, because Madison Square, I would imagine.
I mean, Joe Rogan might be able to back out without taking a hit.
I'm sure they saw. I guarantee they could fucking nail him. Because this is you hold that space.
Yeah.
They're expecting to make money. You're damaging their business.
That's true.
But that's the price of bad business.
It is a price of bad business. I'm sure he could be sued. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with it. Also, he's trying to build out.
I don't really give a fuck. He can fucking play a show. I don't care.
Okay. Question. All right. I was watching Timcast, and they had Jack Murphy on. Jack Murphy's son.
No, but here's the thing.
You want to play the clip?
No. Well, we can play. It doesn't really need to. Hold on, before you go, Mike. Jack Murphy's son is like 14 or 15, wants to play varsity baseball or something. To play baseball, only students that are mandated are athletes. Everybody else in the school doesn't have to be. But if you want to play a sport, you have to be vaccinated, right? He might be 15 or 16, whatever age. I think he's able to get the vaccine. So he is, do I push my political views on my kid? Do I make my kid suffer for my beliefs? And I think that's but he knows that the system is bullying him and parents like him.
Yeah, he does. He's fully aware of happening, but you have to take that. You have to find a balance in that. And you said, it's a cause risk, it's a risk assessment. You got to say okay, there's lots of other ramifications. Of course, I mean, that's a possibility. It's a very small possibility.
So a possibility is, Sean, they could mandate your kid get vaccinated.
That's what I'm saying. What happens if your kid cannot go to school?
We're talking about teenagers. We're not talking about 4-year-olds.
It's coming though.
It's 5 to 11 is already ready or in the process of approval,
which doesn't even make sense.
No, but hold on. So, would you punish your child according to the Jack Murphy thing, Sean? Would you punish your child by not allowing them to associate with other kids his own age?
Yeah, that's a
to not get him and to allow him to not be vaccinated.
When he's like 15 years old? I think
No, I'm talking right now.
Right now? Well, that's not the decision I have to make. It's not the same thing.
No, but,
my son's 4 years old. He doesn't have a ton of school friends. Like, he just doesn't. There are other options for me to get him to school and homeschool.
I think you get my point, though.
No, no, because it would change if he was a teenager and it was really important to him, and we found it was a valuable thing.
Yes. Okay. Fine. That's fine. I personally would think I understand what you're saying, but I'm like, you're taking away his opportunity to be educated. You're taking away his opportunity to associate with kids. If the school forced vaccines and you said, no, I don't want to do that, that's what you're taking away from him.
Kind of a little bit. You are. Yeah.
You're taking away his ability to socialize with the kid.
But you're suggesting that there is not other options that is different than what Jack Murphy was talking about.
No, the question is, do you make decisions for your child based off of your political beliefs?
Dan, what if it's not even a political belief? What if it's just a medical belief? Well, why does it have to be political?
I'm with you. Well, because in this current climate, this is not about the science. Okay.
I know. So what if you just, as a parent, you're just like, this has I'm doing this because I believe it's a medical reason. I believe it's a science.
I think a 14 to 16-year-old, whatever age his son is, probably is old enough to determine like how bad do you want to play, because these are the risks that are associated with this, and these are the risks with this decision, and these are the risks associated with this decision. And I think that's something that's fair. But should a parent, for example, Sean has told me from at his school, taping masks to their kids?
Who's taping masks to their kids?
Right, Sean? Or am I misremembering what you said?
I might have been being hyperbolic by saying taping, but there are kids with masks like strapped to their faces at that school.
Really?
Like where it's like you feel bad for them.
Like you could like grab them and throw them like a sack.
Yeah.
Nice.
But doesn't that lead to the same exact thing? You know, like it's the same exact, like, because of their political beliefs, their kids has to be subjected.
Yeah, but as long as the school offers the choice.
Yeah. What if in 10 years it comes out that what was in these vaccines gives people a bunch of fucking problems?
No, listen, Mike, I'm on the side. Yeah, I'm on the side of choosing. Breasts. I'm only asking. And I think it's an important question. Right, I don't have kids. Ryan, you're about to have a kid. Mike, you have a kid. Sean has a kid. And I'm just saying, like,
I would move if that was the case.
And I feel you, right? And I feel you. But if we're talking about in this particular situation, I think it's the same. Is this more about medical decisions for your kid, or is this political? That's the kind of the root of the question.
More about medical, because we don't know the long-term effects.
Well, it comes down to giving.
We don't know the long-term effects of anything when it comes to COVID. We don't. Whether it means like you've had it, and you don't know if there's going to be long-term effects of that. Also, the vaccine. You don't know what the long-term effects are going to be, but the symptoms generally are kind of similar. So, and you got to weigh that in your mind. You got to weigh whether or not you feel like that is worth it.
Yeah, but the public needs to be disclosed all the information available so they can make a educated decision.
Of course, I would agree with that 100%.
The core of all of this should be body autonomy.
This is a short version of the clip. It's like 2 minutes long. Do you guys just want to watch it?
Yeah.
Just so we can kind of get a...
Hold on.
Wait.
What do you mean, hold on? Where the fuck are you?
I'm here.
You ready?
Yeah, so do you press it?
Yeah, I'm going to press it.
Don't worry. I
got the buttons.
The mandate now is going to be that all varsity athletes in high school have to get a vaccine in Montgomery County, Maryland.
When being on JV is sick.
My son is a high school baseball player. Yeah, my daughter is a high school rower. And if they want to continue on in the sport that they love, playing for the school that they like and that they go to, they're going to have to get the vaccine. What am I going to do? What do I do then, Tim? I tell my kids, forget baseball, forget crew?
Yes.
Man, I wish
you love the system.
I wish it were that easy.
You love the system more.
No.
Then tell your kids not to play baseball.
What? Dude, that's like telling you not to wear a beanie and not to do this show.
Baseball is not survival. Baseball is something.
Trains
is a passion.
people to become adults, and it is a path to success. Is a path to scholarships.
And you care more about that than your kids.
No, I care about my kids because those things are valuable.
You care more about the fact they could play baseball than the health and choices of your kids and their freedom. And what you're saying is, well, they're going to make my kids do it. And the system in place that they control and the things they've given me are more.
How do you think if Jack Murphy leapt across the table and put Tim's head in a fucking wall? Do you think Tim would?
Chris again.
Do you think Tim would call the fucking police and press charges? Do you think Tim would stand by his fucking values? I don't think so. Say that kind of shit to a grown ass man. You fucking
come on.
Why?
He's trying to check him. He's checking him though. He's checking him.
Yeah, that's what you do for your friends. Like you fucking they should be able to disagree.
Maybe they have like a really good relationship and he's just checking them.
I'm just saying. I don't think Tim would.
Well, are you saying that so far in this 1 minute that we've listened to this 2 minute thing that this is like Tim's wrong? That he is not sacrificing his child to the system.
Kind of.
And because Tim is not taking in the totality of all the nuance and all this what that stuff means in a person's life.
I don't.
Tim is like he's like this autistic person who does not see anything other than the way Tim Pool sees the world, and he has a fucking real. It's really okay for him to ask everybody to suffer for Tim Pool. And when he said the thing about the beanie in the show, and then Tim said, well, that's not about baseball. It's not about survival. Neither is what Tim is doing. And Tim capitulates to the system all the time, and he has for years. So for Tim to, like, about YouTube, about following the YouTube rules, being very careful about that stuff. So he could have a long-term strategy to build a base for himself and a backdoor in his own systems. He did that. He capitulated and he compromised until he could.
That's not capitulating.
But he's kind of riding it for as long as he possibly can to build his own website.
Exactly.
Yeah, why would you cede ground in a battle space?
Yeah.
Why would you cede ground in your son's life?
No,
I mean,
his opportunities and what he finds valuable.
That's why I raised it, saying, "Are you?" I think it's this exact clip where he brings up, like, should I force my kid into my political beliefs?
Yeah, I think it's in this one because there's a longer clip people can go out and find. It's like 15 minutes long, and they get to the nuance, and it does go ebb and flow. It's not as heated as this 2 minute thing makes it look like.
Yeah, because there's some cuts.
There is. Let's just finish it, and then we can go.
More important than my sovereignty. So be it.
It's
you
not
can
simple.
choose to live.
Not that simple, dude.
You can buy a farm. You can choose to work hard
It's not that simple, man. You know what? I wish I had that simplicity. If it were up to me, they'd be homeschooled and playing private club ball all the time. But guess what? I've been divorced for 12 years. I don't have sovereignty over that particular issue. I can't just pick my kids up and move them across the country. Is my line in the sand going to be taking away from my children the thing that they love the most?
Well, I don't. Do you want to say how?
14 and 16.
If it was me,
yeah,
I would do it in 2 seconds.
You would tell your kid that you have been coaching in baseball your whole life, that you've taught how to throw, how to pitch, how to bat. And you've talked your whole life about them being on a varsity sport and going into college to play Division I baseball, and you would look them in the eye and be like, just throw that away because daddy's got a political position. So I know that this is nothing but bullying. It's nothing but bullying. And they have found that open wound, that open nerve, that one thing that I can't fight, which is the happiness and success and fulfillment that my children feel.
I mean, that's a fair position.
Paul says, really dumb comment to make without having kids, even dumber if he had kids.
Well, I think that's just a logical fallacy. I mean, if you have to be able to.
They're both right.
Yeah, like they're both right in certain respects because, I mean, I think if the divorce is really the thing that complicates the situation, probably more
big time complication.
Yeah, but
that's really where the complication comes in.
And there's a lot of people in that position where it's not as easy. It's not cut and dry. It's not this or that, and life does not operate that way. It doesn't. No, it does for maybe for people like Tim Pool who doesn't leave his house and fucking reads news all day. Maybe that's his prerogative. Sure.
Hold on.
Yeah, but he's doing.
There is a point.
Yeah, I see Tim's point. Like I would be.
But before, hold on. There is a point though where the system, okay, the system that we have in place, at what point do you finally say no? Where is the nuance out of the discussion? Because at this point, it should not be nuanced. This is a very simple thing. It's either force your kid, the state, the school, the authority is forcing your child to be able to participate in a public school activity that is funded through public dollars, taxpayer dollars, to have that stripped. The system is doing it to the kid.
You have to bring it up to the school. You have to have parents get together.
Yeah, but like that would be the response.
Yeah, but where he lives is super liberal.
Yeah.
So, but even liberal people,
like, the majority,
there's a lot of fucking overlap here, man.
Well, because at what point does the nuance
even go? Like people are getting upset. A lot of people, even liberal people, they're annoyed.
Well, if you watch the longer cut of this, he says his rationale, I suppose, is kind of what I said before. It's that, like, you don't know the long-term effects of getting COVID. You don't know the long-term effects of getting the vaccine. As right now, as we can see, 99.9% of people who get the vaccine are fine. 99.9% of people that get COVID are fine. You have to weigh those things and you have to make a decision, because there is a reality.
But getting the vaccine doesn't prevent you from
no,
getting
it doesn't.
COVID.
I know it doesn't, and he acknowledges that. He says this is a bully tactic. It is really no bearing in reality.
It's coercion.
It is
Sean,
it's coercive.
Sean, I know
and
you
can
if
you can
know
acknowledge
a person's bullying you.
If I know
what would you do? Like, I know you, but if you feel like you're being bullied, what position are you going to take? You know, like, and I understand having a kid is very complicated.
I think, like I said, I think a kid's being that old changes it. I think because it's not that big of a deal if they have a vaccine, and if you're staring down the barrel of destroying your relationship with your kid, where you can no longer have access to them, be an advocate for them, influence them, teach them. Yeah, maybe it's worth it because it's not even just divorce. That could just happen not with undivorced people. That could just happen with a family unit. You have to make
decisions that your kids don't like all the time.
Yeah. Of course you do.
You know, like I don't think anyone would really hate their father.
Might be, you never know what could happen.
If you drive though for most of the time and you're a teen, well, that's true. You never know. I'm not going to suggest that I could read somebody's mind or have a crystal ball.
Close.
Potentially, it could.
If you're getting divorced, not a good.
No, but
I
think that there's also that other side of the equation of destroying your relationship with your child in a way that is going to negatively affect what?
I was just telling Mike I can't hear you.
Oh.
He was trying to talk.
No. I was saying that we've all had our parents make decisions that we thought at the time when we were younger. Why? But then later on,
but they're not things. Specifically, what he's talking about, something that would derail his son's future.
Maybe
because of
a 14, 16-year-old intellectually grasp the idea that this is like a moment in American history.
No, they can't.
I think they could. I think a 14-year-old could. 14-year-olds used to fight in war. They can do it.
Well, sure.
They get it.
I don't. Yeah.
I know. So why are you going to let the 14-year-old make a choice on medical if you disagree with that medical decision?
The question.
Well, they don't disagree with the medical decision. They disagree with it being forced. They don't disagree.
What they're
going to
do is though they're going to make it. I'm sure. I think they already have done this. They're going to allow 16-year-olds to get vaccinated without approval.
No, but my point is, if you're a parent and you think that 14, 16-year-old can't grasp what's going on in America right now, why should you? If they can't understand that, then why should they be able to? Why would they be able to grasp to be able to make a medical decision to get a vaccine if you are on the side?
They can't. That's why you have to weigh the pros and cons and do a risk assessment of what it is.
Yeah, I understand, but I just think the thing that we're losing in this conversation is who are the people doing this to us, and
ourselves.
why it is ourselves. Yes, exactly, and I think that's what Tim is saying. Tim is saying you love the system so much.
But there are people bucking the system.
No, I understand there are people bucking the system. But when you go down, and when you go down to it, when do you capitulate? And what is actual I can't say that fucking word. Capitulation or whatever.
Wow.
You have to decide where is the line, and every person it may be different. Some people don't care about the mandates, period. They're like, let it ride. Let's do it. I don't care. anybody should not be able to be in public at restaurants and enjoy life until they are doing their civic duty.
Yeah, I can't believe what Trudeau said. It was pretty well.
Yeah, he goes like, why are the unvaccinated? Because that's where we are.
I want you to be able to sit down in a Denny's restaurant and know that the person next to you is clean. Put your hands up in the air. Do you have clean hands?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Tim. No, but like I think that's a serious, and I also think when it comes to somebody like Tim Pool who talks for 4.5 hours a day, yeah, you're gonna say some dumb shit.
Lie. Yeah,
we say some dumb shit too. It's like you can. I just think that's kind of the. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's been a little bit lacking lately, in my opinion. I think he is a little bit too pessimistic in certain areas. But as a parent, I can only imagine the amount of pressure that puts on you. But at what point do you say enough is enough? That's the question.
I mean, I don't know, because it's not an easy question to answer. It's not.
I think it's personal easy for everybody, right?
It's a personal decision.
If a school decided to force mask children, forced inoculation has already been a thing for most public institutions for a while.
Yeah.
For those universities and such. And that stuff this infrastructure has been built out for decades, since the 80s and stuff. Like this entire system has, and probably even before then, of forced inoculation. So the only people we can blame is ourselves, and where we are today is based off of what, and why do they continue pushing this shit? It just doesn't make sense to me. And as a parent,
we know that it's politics. It has nothing to do with anything else. This is about power.
That's the thing.
It is. I mean, I would never suggest otherwise. That is 100% what this is about at this point. It is.
So if your kid was that age, 15, 16 years old, you would allow them to make their own medical decision.
Would I allow them to make their own medical decision?
Based
not all medical decisions, no. And I would definitely have a very particular circumstance. I would have a very serious conversation with them about that.
But ultimately, you'll make the decision.
But ultimately, yeah, I guess. I mean, it depends.
You would.
Would I ultimately make the decision?
I think you would, yeah. And your kid would understand, like Foster would understand.
Well, that's because I'm a great dad. But
there you go. Boom.
Hey,
but I don't know. But this is what I talk about as advocating for, like, being the type of parent that I want to be, is the type of parent that can have that kind of conversation with my son when he's 15 years old. Yeah. And have him not just like completely act like an immature 15-year-old about it. Have some sort of emotional intelligence. It's possible, man. Like,
my dad's an anti-vaxxer.
I mean, because you're 15. Like, you don't know how someone's going to act when they're 15.
No, of course not.
Yeah, they can come at you with a blade.
But you can build you can build a foundation as a father, as a parent, whatever,
they're literally
to have a good relationship.
They're holding your children hostage.
I know.
That's what the
parents are bucking the system.
I think in certain respects they are. I don't think. But the question is, are we bucking hard enough?
Well, maybe we're just getting started, man. Maybe the buck has just started, man. It's a gradual buck up. You can't have a straight. And if you start a buck with a,
I tell you what, you're not gonna be lasting no 8 seconds.
Yeah, you're gonna fluster out very early.
Yeah, I saw that movie.
I guess. Well, I mean, okay. I mean, I just think
pressure's gonna build.
If you're the one doing the bucking, you want to go as quick as possible.
Yeah, but
if you're the one doing the bucking, you want to get them off as quick as possible.
Yeah, because
you gotta fool them.
Mike. So like a slow buck, Ryan. A slow buck is like, hey, you come out, you give them a little pop. Hey, man, it's a warning, And then what they've been doing is literally taking the saddle off, letting us relax,
stroking our cock,
putting us in, giving us all the good food. Here's your $1,200 worth of grain. Just shut up and stay in your little stable. Then they pull you back out again, and then this time they put a choke collar on you, and they just yank it every now and then. And then it's like, at what point do you just not want the saddle? At what point do we have to say?
Maybe they should watch Spirit.
Did you go back to 2 years, dude? They have literally systematically destroyed this country. They're doing it in front of your eyes, and all we can talk about is the fucking bullshit. Like, it's like look at the border, international crisis with Afghanistan. You have France recalling their ambassadors because
it's not a good time.
No, it's not a good time. So
but that doesn't mean that everything's going to be negative.
But the question is, why? Why would they be doing this to the country intentionally? Because this is intentional.
Because they're bucking. This is a hard buck. This is a steep incline buck here for the federal government, Dan.
It is.
The buck system's very
because they see that they have a window. They have a window of time to try to achieve certain things. So that's why it's so expedited.
Yes.
That's why they're cramming so much stuff. Because if they were smart, smart and they had maybe they know that they don't have very long.
They're losing ground. Yeah,
because people are reacting so negatively because of how quickly they're trying to implement things.
Yeah,
that's why people react negatively. If you did a slow drip
of data,
if you did a
change,
if you did a slow drip over a couple of years. People wouldn't even
they
notice.
Piss in the wind, and they just see where it goes, and they decide from there.
So, 218,000 views in 2 hours for the new Project Veritas release. I highly recommend everyone go check it out.
It's pretty brave.
I mean,
fierce.
The thing is,
kind of. I don't know.
Sean does. I know you don't like Project Veritas too much.
I don't.
Sean, do you think it's like videotaping with people without people's consent, like honest people?
No, I think that the presentation.
Some of them, not all.
No, I think the presentation to me is like corny, and that's all I've ever said. I just think it's corny.
I know. I'm saying you don't appreciate the way
it's like Inside Edition. It reminds me of old tabloid shows, like that, and that I assume that is the intention.
It's like that show that when the guy walks down the alleyway with smoke, he's talking
Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
It gets close to that sometimes with James O'Keefe like walking out of a booth, be like, "Oh, didn't see you there."
Yeah, like, it is a little.
It was 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon.
But I don't have a problem. I think ultimately, even if they get things wrong sometimes, like I think ultimately it's a good thing because it's like a watchdog and it keeps people on their toes. At least you think it would.
The problem is there's nowhere else for these people to turn to.
Yes.
You used to be able to go, there was a famous 60 Minutes piece that was done on a vaccine back in the 70s or something that they were lying about certain stuff. And they called them out.
Well, what do you think their diet consisted of?
Their diet?
Yeah, like what do you think like rich people eat like?
Oh, they probably eat babies and
crab rangoons.
Candy.
Do you think, you know what I'm going to have for breakfast in the morning?
What, steak?
And eggs. Yep.
Had a steak is expensive, dude. Talk about inflation, dude. Steak and beef and everything.
Well, the inflation is coming. You can already see it at the supermarket.
Here.
Well, it's going to get worse.
I think the housing market is worse.
I know.
Yeah, it's all bad.
Well, that's right, because Ryan's right now is trying to
holding the budget deficit.
Yeah, fucking put a bid in, fucking and take the bid, the bastards.
So Ryan's trying to get a house real quick. Yeah, how's it going?
Pretty stupid decision on my part to wait like this. I should have just been doing this forever ago, but whatever. It's going well. I mean, there's some promise out there. We'll get a house. It's gonna happen.
We'll get into it.
I mean, it's a deep league. We've got a lot of talent out in the field.
No, so they bucked you on a steep incline. They bucked you a little.
I mean, I thought I was bucking them a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I might have bucked too hard and fucking spooked them.
Ryan's like hunting. You do this is like 411. Yeah. Like Momo. That's Ryan out. He's trying to get the. This is. I mean, it's basically becoming that hard to buy a home. I mean, listen. I have space for everybody. We could start a commune here.
Dan, you have a little fucking yard. You can't.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah. We could turn it into a garden. We could turn it all into a garden.
Hey,
why not?
You see my garden? He points at the local Walmart. Fucking
right there,
fresh fruit, vegetables every day.
Yeah, dude, it's like it just shows up, man. It's sick. Like I walk in and then there's food. It's like amazing. But things are getting hit here, especially the gas. Gas stations are still kind of popping out of gas. Like you do see it, like no gas, like a couple times I've seen it recently in the last couple weeks.
So then how long till you're living in a tent on the street?
Well, when they cut me off,
will you resist? Hashtag resist?
Yeah, dude, I think I will. I think if I had to, I think I would. Yeah, I don't. It's one of those things I've really thought about, and you have to ask like, how much of this is ego how much of this is,
I feel like a lot of it's ego.
I don't think a lot of it's ego. There's
I would
a point
say 30%.
No, ego is like what they did in Auschwitz. That's ego. Like not willing to recognize how awful what you're doing, and you just let your ego control your emotions.
How much of your ego is preventing you from not getting
I think it's probably 50-50. It's like 50
ego.
Yeah, I would say my main problem is ego. Like that's probably a lot of my
Well,
problem.
I'd say if you
my main problem is why the fuck should anyone tell me what I should be putting in my body?
No, but that's the other 50.
If you don't have a reason to do it, then don't. There's no reason to.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have a compelling reason to do so, who cares? I mean.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, there's no cool.
Yeah, but even if they make a compelling reason, it's like, why should they be allowed to tell us what to put in?
Well, like,
the coercion is the problem. They should be able to be persuasive and compelling all day. It's the coercion. It's the fear. It's, it's like there's, according to the Hunger Games, Richard Sutherland, he plays this character, and he says there is only one emotion that is more powerful than fear, and it's hope.
It's Donald Sutherland, everybody.
Or whatever.
I couldn't let it go. I'm sorry.
Okay, fair enough, dude, movie guy. Okay, fair enough. It's that the hope is this. I think for me, in the white pill, is that I am seeing a lot of pushback. I am seeing a lot of groups of people coming out and being like, no, you're seeing Dynacore, one of the largest security contractors in the United States, 40% of their workforce threatened to quit.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So like a lot of these big companies, enough of the workforce is refusing that it would have a detrimental effect on the company.
No, but the question is, is that by design? Like, why? Why would you want to mandate?
Well, because they politically, and this is what we talked about this like a year, like maybe not a year ago, but like 6 or 7 months ago.
Special privileges.
No, but this is they are politically kind of feel obligated to do this because they cannot declare victory until this happens.
Until we're all vaccinated.
I don't know why. But because they kept
one compelling theory.
They keep changing the goalposts because if you remember a few months ago, it was like, well, if 70% of the population is vaccinated, we're good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like we've reached these goals.
Well, the CDC,
I know that they keep shifting.
CDC published a study.
Well, because they keep shifting the goalposts and they see that the vaccines are not actually working the way that like they wanted them to by stopping infection. It's not happening that way. So now they've had to pivot. Now they had to kind of pit people against each other.
Protect the vaccinated from the unvaccinated.
Yeah, Chris Rock's been getting rolled on Twitter.
Oh my god!
Good.
Yeah,
I saw anything that crazy.
He just said, "I got COVID, y'all. You don't want to get vaccinated."
Did you see why he was getting rolled? Like what the reason was? It
wasn't because the AIDS one.
Yeah, because he was talking about he's like they don't want to cure you. They want to keep you alive. Like can't do Chris Rock, but. It's one of those things. Is how much of this is profit driven? How much of this is politically driven? And how much of this is actually about protecting people? And I think the lowest.
Well, this is when we're seeing the power of the lobbyists and the incestuous nature.
Lobbyists.
Well, but the incestuous nature of the people that run our country and these major giant corporations, these pharmaceutical industries. You think this is like Moderna and Pfizer aren't jumping for fucking joy that the government is guaranteeing paying for it?
I think they already purchased them all, so it's.
I know, and that's why they started talking. Oh, they're out on MSNBC talking about booster shots and shit months ago, because this is a gold mine. You mean the government's going to tell people that they have to get vaccinated, and they're going to buy it from us? Yeah, guaranteeing this stuff.
The more they do that, the more they push, the more upset they're making people.
I know that, and that's the writing is starting to appear on the wall a little bit. Like you said, it has been heartening to see people, even globally, even though the American media does not cover it at all, but globally, people are like, no.
A majority of the people in the United States support vaccine mandates.
Do they? Is it a majority?
No.
A majority out of a poll I saw earlier. It was. Yeah, no, they were definitely supportive.
I see a pretty even
50%.
I would say just on social media and stuff, I see kind of an even split. I always see an even split of people, even people that are vaccinated. They're like, yeah, I got vaccinated, but I don't think you should be forced to be vaccinated.
Well,
Yeah, and I would probably be way more willing to get vaccinated if it wasn't so fucking forced.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Like if they were actually trying to be persuasive.
Yeah, because when you're trying to like force me to do something, I'm like the type of person that's like, no, I'm not fucking doing that because you're not gonna tell me I gotta do that.
Yeah, I think we're all of that like kind of personality type.
I mean, I am. I know I am. I just don't really see
Then it seems like it's something fishy. Like, why the fuck are you trying to force me to do this?
Well, especially when it comes from on high. Yeah, you should ask that question. It's a fair, legitimate question.
Especially when it's so divisive. It's not even something that's even appealing.
But they have the one that have made it divisive. Like
I know.
Was and the language that they're using.
They're just inflammatory.
It is inflammatory. And maybe good, but
I mean, maybe they feel like that's just people need that tough love, like Tim Pool and Jack Murphy.
Well, I think pointing back, I think Tim Pool is right. Like you are giving up something. When you decide. Like I have a friend.
You're giving up that red, white, and blue
works for the federal government. Did not. I have a couple friends recently. That. Basically before they're like, no, you're gonna get it, like basically, right? And they did not want to get it, and then they ended up getting it because of the coercion and the
I've had family members, one of them quit their federal job, and and then I had another family member dropped out of school because of it.
Yeah, and the
other one got fired from a federal job because she's not taking it.
And that's the question, it's that cause hardship to a family, absolutely. It's tough. It's a tough decision, but I do think
you just don't mandate vaccines and let people make a decision for themselves.
Well, the thing is, that's already been done, right? So, the question is, for me personally, is I don't think Tim's wrong, and I don't think Jack Murphy's wrong. I think they're both right. Like they're both right on exactly what they're saying. It's that Tim is trying to say that like we need to draw a hard line in the sand. And rebuke that. And if you don't draw a hard line, and Jack Murphy's situation is very different. But if you don't draw that hard line,
they're just gonna keep on moving it.
Well, it's kind of like why was Jesus murdered? Jesus was killed because he stood up to the system that was in place, and they didn't like how powerful he was becoming, and because he was only there for 5 days before he was crucified, I believe, right? Wasn't it? He showed up 5 days. They laid the palms
So was
down.
it like? So do you think
Sunday.
It was like how Jackie Chan was in like Beijing? Like him walking
only
around
there for
Jerusalem
5 days.
and all those people. Like, was he like Jackie Chan superstar over there?
Yes.
Really?
No, but like
No,
I guess, but the larger question, the thing that
No, he wasn't.
the larger question, the thing that Jack Murphy brings up, if you watch the longer version of it, is that like, yeah, we are fighting this. The people that can fight it. Do you want to sacrifice your kids to do it? Is it necessary? Is it necessary?
So what's the point of fighting if you're going to?
And that's it's a matter of perspective whether you.
But wouldn't you say you're enshrining your child's sovereignty over their own body? Like saying, "This is my of my body. Well, I created this person, and I do not want my kid to be subjected to medical tyranny." Because that's what this is. It's medical apartheid. Separating people based off of medical status so that your kid cannot perform. And would you not say at a 15 or 16-year-old sitting them down and saying, listen, I will let you play baseball, but not at your school? Because at this point, because like that is the question. Because that's what Tim, I think, is really saying. Like,
but that's not the situation that Jack Murphy's son is in. It's not.
He is in that situation because the mother is outside of it.
No, what I'm saying,
this particular situation.
I understand but like his son has spent years getting into this position, and this position offers a lot of opportunity. That is what he's talking about, and that is the way. That's what you are weighing. You are weighing your son's future in a happy life with a political stance.
If your life is dependent, its happiness on a system, there has to be, because the question is you have to make, sacrifices, compromises with the system. We have all decided under this system, we will have to make certain decisions that are uncomfortable. You know, like, and the question is, if you are weak in the face of certain things, when your kid gets older and they look back, will they be thankful that now they live in a different world because you refuse to sacrifice or harm them emotionally in the short term? And it could go either side of the argument, right? Like that can be made either, like, so you're going to harm your child in the short term, you know, maybe potentially long term, either side of the argument, or are you going to just not make a choice? And what is not making a choice? Pulling your kid completely out of school and saying, I'm not doing this anymore. You know, I'm not going to partake in your system that is all about coercion, fear, and manipulation to get me to have a medical procedure performed on my child. And I think Tim is right, though. Like, there is that line. And if that's not the line for you, if that choice is not the line for you as a parent, where is the line?
Well,
at what point do you say enough?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how you feel about vaccines and how you feel about this particular vaccine. And like he said, you have to weigh that.
But instead of like looking at the moment, where are we going to be in 20 years?
I understand that, but that is what he's considering. He's just considering it from the perspective of a father and his son. That is the perspective that he's looking at it, and he's looking at the long-term damage of that. That is what that is what he is offering up as part of the conversation, because this is the real life difficulties that people have when they're facing these decisions. It is not binary. It is not black and white. It is not this or that.
When does it become black and white?
If they want to cut your kid's dick off and put him in a dress, then that would probably be a thing.
They are doing that, but you know, yeah, basically, it's
just with their mind.
I don't know, man. For me, like if I had a kid, maybe I would feel a little bit differently. I'm sure I would. I'm sure there'd be different emotions. But they've already locked us in our home.
Dude, they're trying to reinstate the eviction moratorium. These fucking communists.
Again?
Yeah, Congressman Cory Bush has posted something on Twitter.
Oh, whatever.
This week, Senator Warren and I are introducing a bill to reinstate the eviction moratorium.
That will not pass because it's unconstitutional, and that's red bait. That's just fucking red meat for their base.
No, it's not unconstitutional.
What? To the eviction moratorium?
Is not what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said
I think they're wrong.
That the only body that is the legislative body that can get this through. This is the only way.
Well, they said that they would
brought back up again.
That they would
maybe shot down again.
Yeah, they would more seriously consider it in that context. Yes, but they didn't say that it would pass. They did not say that.
No,
but they said the CDC can't do this. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yes, they said the legislative body can do it.
Well, they can try. They can try.
No, they can pass a law and it will be brought back up to the court. Of course it will.
Yeah.
But in how long? 6 months? 8 months?
No, hey, I agree.
You know,
I don't think that bill is very popular. Honestly, I don't think that even most Democrats would sign on to that.
Well, because there's a lot of Democrats that are landlords that are pretty pissed.
Some of the people that are pushing this are landlords. What's her name?
Yeah, probably.
Rashida Tlaib is like a landlord and made like $120,000 in her properties this past year, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but landlords don't make a ton of money. It's not like some giant lucrative thing.
Honestly, though, that's a fucking pretty big chunk of change.
It depends on how much
you had a lot of properties. Think if you had one house, you get $1,200 a month,
and you owe $1,000 on it or whatever.
Yeah, you're not making that much.
Yeah, but it depends if you own a shit ton of properties.
Yeah, if you own a lot, that's why.
And if they're paid off.
Yeah, if you own like a condominium complex or something.
And then I'm sure the maintenance on those are fucking ridiculous. But
it make big money on real estate on renting of those places.
Dude, Ben and Jerry's unveiled a new fucking flavor in support of Cory Bush's public safety reform bill. Oh my god,
dude, and it's at every level.
It's called Ben and Jerry's. Change is brewing.
Hey, they do make good ice cream.
They do. Delicious ice cream.
Say what you want about their politics, but I enjoy myself some Chunky
Monkey. And I will
Monkey.
keep eating that fucking ice cream because that's my American right.
Yeah, it is. You know, and I just, hey.
It is. But you're a slave to the system. It is.
It is. I mean, but what's going to happen? I don't know, man. I don't know when it's going to stop. But when the climate lockdowns come or something to that effect, because they're already setting up this infrastructure, this predictive programming where we are just going to.
So, Dan, what are they going to do with, like, these big bankers? Like, who's going to pay, like, the mortgages and the fucking.
Dude, yes, that's the question. Why are they systematically destroying our country? Why? What are they covering up? What are they preparing for? This doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense.
Well, I'm in the process of becoming a Chinese citizen. I mean, I feel like I just get ahead of the game and just. I mean,
they just.
I could be like one of the good ones. You know, that's how they'll look at me.
I think it's called Evergrande or Evergrande or Grande or something. It's a housing. They liquidated all of it. Like 89% drop in value. Like they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff over there. They're taking the billionaires out because they don't like these guys are getting very powerful in the world. And there shall be nothing more powerful than the state. So they're weakening their corporate infrastructure from what it looks like. And the state is taking more control.
Sure. Yeah.
You know who's a conservative that acts like a Democrat tactically? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, I mean,
she's just always like doing shit. Always like.
Did you see her 50 cal video?
Yeah. Well, you know, like Democrats are very good at like on the ground shit. Like they push and they push hard. That's why they're such a stronghold in these cities.
Yeah, she's not going to get voted out because she's too much of a profit. She drives so much.
She
funding.
looks like a little person with just regular size.
Hey, dude, like,
I mean, Dan will let her
wrap
her lips around him.
Yeah, but she's the type.
I just don't understand the whole lockdown thing, though.
What do you mean?
That's the question. Yeah, why did we do that? Do you know, like they
no,
find the
I
person?
But why are they going to try to continue to do that when these huge
we have a lot of
bankers and loan companies who's they got to get paid
because they are insured protection because of our fiat currency system. They get to take out billions of dollars and crap tons of money in loans at 0% interest from the Fed, and they know they're covered. They have their mansions. They have their multiple escape plans and like security. They're set up. This is setting up. People think that the Chinese, we're just as bad as the Chinese from a governmental structure. We do just as much terrible shit to the American people as the Chinese. So? They took away private property ownership during the pandemic.
Well, we have guns.
They locked you down in your homes. They said these businesses are not allowed to operate based on their size.
Well, I mean, but even like the lockdown stuff, I mean, that was not widely followed, John.
Yeah, honestly, my life changed fucking.
No, I understand.
Ryan was in a bar.
But you have to look at that. I guarantee you, I was, you know. But I don't. So you're telling me that restaurants didn't have to alter or.
No, they did.
Of course they did. No, of course they did. That stuff definitely damaged.
Especially in the beginning, for the first 6-8 weeks, it was like lockdown. Like there was nobody on the roads.
Yeah, you know, nice.
It was.
I'm just joking.
But you know,
fucking Starbucks was closed. Couldn't get a good coffee. Fucking nowhere. Man.
You had to go to Mickey D's, try to get your fix.
Check your Twitter.
I think you would be shocked, man. I really do think if you really think about where we are, it's like if this isn't enough to wake a lot of people up.
Yeah, but don't you think it kind of has?
No, I don't think it's woken enough. Beautiful, Ryan. I do not. Jesus, I really hope she's of age because I don't know. She looked young.
Of course.
I don't know. No nudity, people. It was just a chick at a college football game.
The Panthers game in Charlotte.
Oh, whatever. God damn, man, that is I would slave up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Did you get the jab?
Did you get the vaccine?
You bet
for that?
your ass, dude. You bet your I would capitulate.
That's
persuasion, though.
Says,
that's persuasion. That's
good business.
Imagine if they just had like hot ass chicks just rolling around with fucking vaccines,
giving hand jobs and shit, dude. Everyone would be vaccinated.
Every bro in this country.
Prostitutes, man.
I mean, it's one of those things where we go, but I mean, if you look at the system right now, like, what are we doing, guys? Like, what is the future of America look like if we keep heading down this path where more and more of the centralized powers are taking away our property rights, like our most basic exchange of goods and services.
We don't do
property and renting and owning property.
Oh, I don't think any of us here disagree with that.
I know, but the thing is, the state seizes more property, private property, including both land, articles, equipment, you name it, whatever you have.
Seizing semen from the most strong men in our population.
They may.
And maybe
that's what they're doing up in the national parks, dude. Maybe they're just like getting the perfect genetic code, and they're like, this kid makes it. It's all sick. It's all fun.
Got great semen.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this stuff tastes like pineapples. This is gorgeous.
This is goddamn it's science, Jim.
I'm just
saying. Supposed to taste the cum.
Dude, that's so gross. I just think if the question is like, at what point are we going to rebuke the system, or is it going to break up, divorce? I don't think that's going to happen.
I wish it would divorce.
No, but dude, there will be a large federal crackdown, just like. Because this is
on who? Not the state that secedes.
Yes. Have you ever heard of the Civil War, homie?
Yeah, but we'll be fine.
I mean, I think we're on a slow build.
Will the South rise again?
Listen, China will just trade with both. We'll be chilling. China will be the
yeah, I mean, I think we might have to join Mexico at this point. Like, we might have to go be a part of Mexico.
Well, what if our states got bought out by the Mexican government? The United States and Mexico came to an agreement to give us to the Mexican nation.
I don't want to live in fucking Mexico.
You're gonna do your part. Are you a patriot or are you a traitor? You go to Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, yeah, I'd be Mexican.
I don't know if is Mexico. You know what they would do in the first 6 weeks? Build a wall to block us off. They would too.
Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Damn good wall.
But Mexico, is very corrupt.
Yeah, but who cares?
But the America's not.
Dude, we'll start our own cartel. We'll be chilling.
For like an hour and a half, Mike.
Yeah, but the way the people live, it's way different.
Yeah, they live in huts. They don't even have running water.
No, America's just way more subtle and subversive with the way that it keeps people down.
Did you not see what happened in Russia?
Like Mexico, it's like, here, we're gonna take you and chop off your fucking arms and throw you in a barrel and light you on fire.
Yeah, but that's not the government.
That's not the government.
That's the cartel.
It's the cartel. The cartel is supported with the government. They're intertwined together.
Yeah, but not a good look out there. I think COVID has really dropped the numbers though.
No, because they gave everyone ivermectin in the beginning, so they're all healed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Can you believe that?
They did.
Straight horse stuff. Horse paste? Are you serious?
Ivermectin is the biggest question mark that I have with all of this.
Well, it's not just, you're not just supposed to take ivermectin. It's part of a therapy.
Yeah, it's a cocktail.
Yeah.
It's a protocol, yeah.
And if people do it, let them have the option to do it.
Yeah. Well, they can't. Well, the reason why is because they would lose the emergency.
No, that's
the federal government's holding them.
That's been debunked.
Not debunked necessarily, but they can put it under emergency use authorization. Why don't they just add?
Or you can treat someone for lice and give them ivermectin. Oh, they have to have.
But the question is, why would they not include it? Because what they're doing, according to some people, I'm not saying this is true. This is hearsay from a nurse.
This is a source.
This is a secret source, secret sauce. They have been giving ivermectin to certain people only if they've been vaccinated.
What?
Some hospitals are doing
that. That sounds stupid.
In certain.
That sounds so backwards. Because if someone's going to take the risk to use ivermectin,
would it shock you?
Yeah, that would shock me. It just doesn't even make sense, though.
At this point in the game, would it really shock you to say?
Wait, so you're saying that they'd let the unvaccinated die? or just have a higher chance of dying because
it's not about letting people die. It's about trying to maintain.
I would be shocked.
Holy shit! Speak, please. It would maintain the image that they need to convince people to get vaccinated. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like if there was this protocol that was effective.
Yeah, but if you're only giving it to so you're saying if you get vaccinated, you can use ivermectin?
Because it would help maintain the image that they need to be presenting to the world. Because in the Project Veritas video, which has already been removed from Facebook and Instagram, by the way. It just got removed.
Why?
Because of the language and the topic.
It's shocking.
It is very shocking. Even there, Ryan,
is it on YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to send it to me, Dan.
We could watch it. I mean, it hasn't been taken down off of YouTube. I don't know how Sean feels about that.
We can watch this privately.
Yeah, we can watch it privately. It's up to you, Sean. I can send it to you.
It's gonna get taken down, Sean. 100%.
Yeah, it probably will. So okay, we'll just stay because we already have fucking hard strikes on our channel. So,
but without saying too much, they are proactively.
I haven't heard that. So
you just heard it.
I haven't heard that they were giving it to the ivermectin.
No, not this. Well, again, brother, please let me finish a sentence before you comment, please.
Well, I just never heard that. That sounds bogus.
It does sound bogus. I'm not saying.
I'd like to know who your source is.
It was a video online.
10 minutes later, Ryan's gonna be like, "Listen, I don't know what you're talking about, but that sounds ridiculous."
Yeah,
we've moved on, Ryan.
It was just a couple people had spoken up about it. I've seen a couple people say it. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, but ivermectin's not that hard to get.
Listen.
No, it's not.
It's not about ivermectin. This next sentence. In the video from Project Veritas, it clearly shows that there is policies in place that do not allow people to use ivermectin, for one. Two.
I don't think they talked about it. Well, they did a little.
Just let them go. Stop.
There's also doctors basically saying that they aren't making reports on VAERS and that there is a lot of unreported events going on because it takes about a half hour to fill out the VAERS report on the website. So probably just laziness. Most people are. But what she says is that there's such a high volume of adverse events that they can't literally it makes it seem like since it does take a half hour,
they can't process it all. Yeah.
It would be a full-time job to do, basically. And that would lead, and that is kind of.
It talked a lot more about people being made to be vaccinated and the side effects from said vaccine.
Yeah, like a woman.
They focused a lot on side effects. They show a patient who got vaccinated with the second dose developed end stage, not end stage, but started to develop congestive heart failure.
Yeah, super scary stuff.
But who knows? Maybe he wasn't perfectly healthy and he already had an underlying. But
for sure. But okay, wouldn't you think that if you have heart problems and this could lead to possible heart issues, that they would recommend you not to take it?
Well, that's another part of this.
Johnson & Johnson,
but that's another part of this whole thing is where is the talk about already having immunity from natural immunity and medical exemptions for people? They don't even talk about this shit. It's not even fucking considered.
That's isn't that the craziest part? I don't care about those.
Why?
About what?
Why don't you care about those?
Why do they deserve special privileges?
Because you should be able to practice your religion. That's all, Ryan. That's what all America's about, is being able to practice your religion.
Kidding. I mean, I really don't care about the religious exemptions. Nobody should be forced to do anything.
I know, but if you don't care about if you're a religion, you don't believe something, that's the beauty of America.
The real issue is not the religion, though. In this circumstance, the real issue is the forcing of people. The religion, the religion is, if they were saying everybody doesn't have to get it except religious people, then you would have a real argument. You know what I mean? This is not about religious liberty and freedom. It's part of it, but the main thing is the forcing in the first place. I think that's, the real issue that most people have.
If we wanted to stop, we should all just get it. It's simple math.
Yeah, that's what they say. But then, you look at these countries like Israel, they're on their 4th booster. Like, I don't know.
It's like Fallout 4 over there.
I mean, basically, what happens if this is really something to protect us and that we're playing into our ego? Like, this is legit. Let's say
we're going to die in like a year.
Yeah. Like, let's say something really is coming.
And they're trying so hard. They're just trying to do the best for us to save the world.
Like, they're trying to warn us.
No, what happens? Okay. So what happens
just
if
like
China,
good people.
Hard cut to 2 years later, everybody's dead, just skeletons.
Yeah.
So the vaccinated would be alive.
Yeah, and maybe this is part of it. This is more of like that selective.
They don't start semen too.
Well, they don't want religious people in society in the new atheistic, scientism.
Well, maybe they know like a big virus is coming, and this vaccine protects you from it.
Right. Let's say the Chinese, they got a spy in there in the Chinese government, and they're like, hey, like this was just a warning shot across the bow for the world. Like maybe that's what it is, and they don't want to come out and cause some sort of international panic.
What if we have the best Wi-Fi ever in human history because everybody who's vaccinated emits Wi-Fi?
Yeah,
but that's like there's no bad side effects. Like everything's cool. You're just a Wi-Fi emitter.
Well, they're playing because the weird part is they are playing on religious people, especially Christians. They're playing on them pretty hard because of the mark of the beast and such. Like a lot of Christians are at least aware that you can't exchange goods, you can't buy things, you can't go stores.
Congregate.
Yeah,
that's the biggest issue with religion.
No, I'm saying the idea, the government, the state is playing on these emotions of people, knowing that Christians in particular are very sensitive to a very common theme in our religion would be the mark of the beast, and anything can be mark of the beast, right? So that's the vagueness of it, but they're playing on that, and that's weird to me. Why would they?
Yeah, it's like a built-in natural anxiety about these kinds of things, and then when you have all of the parameters that Dan just said, it just makes people like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah, and what that does is it psychologically affects Christians more, and they get hardened in their positions, and Christians are very likely to move towards violence.
Christianity has the highest rate of vaccines among all religions.
Probably, it wouldn't surprise me, but you have different factions either too. I don't know. Maybe like Northeast Catholics are probably way overrepresented in vaccinations compared to.
They're still part of the group.
No, they are. I'm just saying this is definitely regional too.
Yeah.
So like it's gonna be. It's just so weird that they keep pushing this, man.
You know what my question is? This is the number one question I have with COVID. Oh, should I not say this?
Go ahead.
It's your job, dude. It's your life. Wow.
I'm curious, and I mean it's pretty simple. It's a pretty fair question. Like, are any of the people now being admitted in the ICU, being put on ventilators, are any of those reinfections? I really, really want to know.
I've heard they've basically stopped using ventilators almost entirely for the most part.
Well, my point is, are the people who are getting really sick right now, are those reinfections, ventilators or not? Like, are they
I think it's like it's like 5 or 10% or something like that.
What? That are reinfected?
Reinfected or people that got breakthrough infections with the vaccine?
No, not even breakthrough. I'm just talking about are people
reinfections
who are like reinfections getting really sick. So my point in that,
I see,
like my question is because natural immunity.
Yeah, I mean,
natural immunity is essentially just as effective as the vaccine. And
well, because
Israel said, yeah.
Did you have COVID? You had COVID last year, right?
Yeah, I'm double vaccinated.
Yeah, so we both got
variants.
We both got COVID twice. My second time around with COVID, this was before I was vaccinated or anything, I had a much easier time.
Oh, I would never have known unless other people around me.
I kicked its ass. That's all I know. I fucking just kicked its ass. I felt like crap for a couple of days, but
yeah.
No, but even the lingering effects of it were much, much duller.
Subsided.
Yeah, it didn't affect me. It just didn't affect me the same. But the first time I got sick. Like I was sick.
Yeah, me too. For like a day.
I was sick for a couple of days, for a good 2 or 3 days.
But how can they not be accounting Because if you take into the people that've been affected, both and then also the vaccinated, you're at like 90%.
Yeah, no, we
like
should be like almost at herd immunity, whatever, with the vaccine, all that stuff. We should be good.
But you need it to fly.
The CDC has changed it 3 times. Herd immunity. They've changed it and twice in the last year and a half, and it's really unsettling. Thomas Massey has been really on top of this. Sassy Massey up there, he's getting shit. He's trying, and like, I wish him and Rand Paul would just like join together and then become super libertarian and just say we're destroying.
They should create their own party.
I don't think the answer is a party for me, but it's.
Oh, so they have to start a movement.
It's a bureaucrat. The bureaucratic state, the administrative state, is next. They are one.
What's going to stop Rand Paul from being like Obama?
The uniparty, the state, dude. Like, I don't think.
But didn't Obama have like some popular?
Listen, the Russian election just happened yesterday or last night or
yeah,
today.
Landslide victory for your man Putin.
But guess what?
They dumped a lot of millions of votes overnight.
Yes, all from internet voting. And you're like, okay, like literally the same exact thing that happened with Putin happened with in our elections, basically.
But is that the nature of these?
Even the State Department called it out. The State Department said that this is like
ours was fucking fair, Dan.
Of course it was. So I think that what we are seeing is the erosion of something. I don't.
The Amish, Dan.
The Amish are great until they're not going to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah, they will get crushed. They kind of rely on other people. I'm not going to lie.
Well, they rely on
the
system they rely on the system of capitalism.
They rely on the United States to allow them the opportunity to live where they want to live.
Well, but they still have to follow the law.
But they don't. But they would say they would never pick up arms against.
I would have a hard time thinking that
if push came to shove.
Yeah, like I don't. You could be the most peaceful man in the world, but someone picks up a rock against you.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, but he just didn't kill anybody, And that's a lot. It's bravery, right? It's bravery. But any person that's ever stood up to the system, like I said, I was talking about that Berkeley College, the free speech movement was born there, where a bunch of I always said that to Ryan earlier, not here, but a bunch of communists and socialists wanted to speak on campus and they weren't allowed to, and the police came and ripped them from the pulpit and arrested them and beat them. And what these same liberals now are the ones advocating for these forced mandates, and because it's really at the end of the day, you're the good guy until you're not, like, and that's where we are.
When is it going to be cool to not like the government again?
I think it is cool. It's the hip thing, and hip would be, not mainstream.
It's the most American thing there is.
Listen, do you guys think there's anyone in this country who trusts the federal government?
There are people.
What percent of the population?
20.
The adult population.
20%.
Wow.
I would say, probably 30 to 40 would be on the side of
trust the federal government.
Yeah,
some people just don't. They can't. Trust. I don't know if it's like a lack of knowledge of history or whatever. People just can't fathom that they would do things that are counter to your productivity or your liberty or your life or whatever.
You know why that is?
Movies.
Most people just wanted to be left alone.
Well, that's true. Yeah, for sure.
So you just expect things to
I remember years and years ago with when all the Tea Party stuff was happening, and were
you a big Tea Party guy?
Was I a big Tea Party guy? I was too young to know or care really.
I was
I probably would have said at the time. I probably yeah, sure, because I liked Ron Paul, but then it got co-opted and then it became a different stupid thing. But I remember our father arguing with our grandfather about agent provocateurs. Grandpa would not fucking believe that police or federal agents would show up to a protest to start shit. Even Dad showed him videotape of them getting caught, and he would not believe it. Because he was all in. He was all in on that shit. He could not fathom it. He could not think of it. He could not believe it even when you showed it to him.
Man, this is like how I feel with you guys in anarchy.
Hey, maybe you'll end up being right. You know,
I don't just get it. How many times are gonna have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to Grandpa about a lot of the stuff that was happening before he died, that was going on in the country and everything. And yeah, he was more anti-government than I've ever heard him speak before.
Yeah, well, because it becomes undeniable at some point.
Well, I think it does, and maybe you guys will be on my side soon enough.
Post 9/11, somebody really put the fucking.
Is a fucking inside agent.
Put the foot down, put the foot on the gas pedal all the way to the floor. Like post 9/11, I mean, fundamentally that changed so many things, that exacerbated things, that it sped things up in a way that people could not psychologically like catch up with until it was kind of too late.
Sean,
I think the same
would you
thing
go back
happened
in time to jump on that plane and stop those hijackers?
I would have fought them all.
No, yeah, Sean would have got up there. It's just a bunch of feds.
Would you have just
me and Mark Wahlberg, dude?
Space until you fucking freeze.
Me and Mark Wahlberg, yeah, exactly. I would have grabbed the fucking yoke on that thing and just pulled up. Me and Mark Wahlberg would have been just fuck. We would have saved this country.
And Tom Cruise would be in one of the other liners doing it all by himself.
Well, he's already in outer space. He's fucking Halo. He's doing some dive. Yeah. Not a Halo dive, but a space
Tom
dive.
Cruise who hits the.
Just explodes,
and then it happens. And then it happens anyways because that's what happens. Yeah, it was destiny.
Oh my god, I fucking wonder.
I think if you go back further though, look into Woodrow Wilson, man. Woodrow Wilson.
Clearly
FDR did some fucking crazy socialist, changed our nation forever.
Yeah, no, I think so. But like what I'm talking about is like the speed in which it began to happen, like how fast it started to shift.
FDR was worse.
Post 9/11 America is worse than FDR. It's not as bad as FDR.
It's not even close. FDR was by far the most powerful president. In
terms of like the way our intelligence community has now been embedded in every facet.
They banned alcohol, dog.
Well, I know that.
Like, I mean, but like they put 2 million people in.
Yeah, but
it
is so much more sophisticated now. I mean,
the FDR, 2 million Japanese fucking thrown in concentration camps, bro.
Man, tough times.
Tough times call for tough measures. I am Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I got those paintings, by the way. They're beautiful.
Nice.
Like, what do they do? Just like walk in and grab people? Just body snatch?
No, they anyone of, I think it was first and second generation.
So could I be in the market buying lettuce and I'm a Japanese man and I get body
I think
snatched?
a lot of people turned themselves in actually because they didn't know what was happening. They didn't tell them what they were going to do.
And then they gave them, I think it was 14 or 24,000, something like that. So like they locked them up for a year and a half in there, or however long it was. I can't remember the time. And they took all their property. The government sold it to the banks.
Did they freeze it? Oh, they sold it.
They sold it to the banks. Banks then sold that property. So when those people came out, they had nothing. They had no homes. They had nothing. And they gave them like 14 to 20 grand, which at that time was a lot of money for sure. But all their homes, everything was taken. And people act like, FDR. Not to mention the broad economic changes he made with the welfare state and the social systems and the safety nets. Like there was a lot of things that
There's a lot going on in that time period too.
It was, but it was all through the lens of socialism. It was very popular in the intelligentsia and the academics, socialism and communism at the time.
Yeah.
Well, socialism too. Woodrow Wilson was an outright devout socialist, and he was the first college professor ever elected. I believe it was 1912. Brought in the fiat currency with the Federal Reserve in 1914. Like all this. Woodrow Wilson is extreme, but FDR was by far. He was elected 4 times. Like it was something like that. Like
Woodrow Wilson looks like a fucking goblin from Harry Potter.
Yeah, he was a particular type of Christian that didn't believe in God, like Do you
believe in science?
Kind of. Yeah, it was like a eugenics balance.
Man, he looks like a fucking weasel.
Put him up here on the screen. Can you put him up here?
Who, Woodrow Wilson? No, I can't.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Brian, you can.
It would mess up my situation. But you could just share screen it to
this guy looks like he would
Yeah, but he believed that people were God. Like human beings were the God. and that Christianity was like he was a weird culty thing. He was a super weird guy, super authoritarian. Yes, Woodrow. Look at him.
Okay,
Dude.
he kind of looks like a grasshopper.
Yeah.
He looks like he'd get you, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like he'd lick your face and try to?
Look into Woodrow Wilson and his beliefs, man. That was some sick doggy shit. Like.
Oh, look at him, little Marxist.
Yep.
Fucking, what a piece of shit.
What a goon.
Like Woodrow Wilson was a fucking nut job, and this is the same people who run our country now. The same type of intelligence. Yeah. They got the deep.
Wait, what? FDR died like in the 40s, right?
I don't know when he died. He had the wheelchair thing.
Yeah, 1945.
Yeah, and his wife was basically running the White House by the time he died. But he shepherded in a lot of the crazy shit too.
Yeah, she was just like in Tomorrow War. The wife solves all the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if we go back.
I just think everybody, it's been bad for roughly 100 years, but now they're coming after your guns, they're coming after your children, they're coming after your energy independence, your sovereignty, your property. They're coming after everything. And if you don't think that there's going to be some sort of large manufacturing, because at this point, you cannot tell me that this crisis is not manufactured. This crisis that we're in currently is a manufactured, detailed plan that is very specific in nature. Like everything they're doing, like in the beginning of COVID, everybody knew it was chaos. No one knew what was going on. At this point, at 3 months in, everybody knew what the rules were, like how things worked with this virus. We know having open borders is bad. We know that the situation in Afghanistan was bad. Like we needed to get out of there. Like nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Since those 3 months after the initial wave of the first lockdown, everything that kind of the harsher stuff. So the question is, why are they doing this now? And I just can't find a good, why are they continuing to manufacture and exacerbate these problems? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
For control.
I don't know. To create the ultimate slave class, I guess. To bring back serfdom.
Yeah, actually, I got this cool book. It's called Neo-Feudalism. Hold on, let me grab it so you can see it.
So how about them Patriots, huh?
Pretty good. Pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
Michael hasn't watched the game. Don't let him fucking fool you. He doesn't know.
I watched the first one.
You watched the first game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Here's the talking box.
What is it called? The Coming of Neo-Feudalism by
those...
Joel Kotkin.
Is that an image of two men having intercourse?
Riding a man with a cane and a.
Wow, why would they be doing that, Dan? That's pretty
provocative.
So basically,
I would say that's trying to teach kids how to be gay.
A quick breakdown of the book is the great achievement of liberal capitalism was providing opportunity for the many to improve their condition and build a solid middle class. But now we are reverting to a more stratified society with wealth highly concentrated at the top and reduced social mobility. A new feudalism is emerging in the post-industrial world, but more technologically advanced this time around.
But the peasants, like I'm a peasant, but I can live still pretty comfortably, right? Isn't that the big difference between then and the serfdom back in the day?
I mean, it depends on what you would imagine. I mean, if they can control your power and your water,
it just becomes relative.
I could lock my woman in a building back then, and she could never leave.
like a tower?
Like a cat. No, she'd be like a house cat.
Oh shit! Maybe we should go back.
Maybe.
I mean, when you watch Braveheart and you see what they're living in, like at the mud, it's probably like cold and feels good on your skin.
What a bizarre romanticization of that lifestyle.
Michael sees it. Michael knows. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like no, like I get it. Like sometimes I miss the cold. Like it makes your bones feel kind of good.
Yeah.
It's like windy and wet. It's kind of nice to have that.
This is the opinion of a young man.
It's like you're in a really saturated pussy.
Oh yeah. Anyway.
No. What's your final thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess. Well, when it comes to the neo-feudalism, I haven't even cracked it yet, so like I'm not going to speak on it. But it's really the middle class. Having a strong middle class is what really builds an economy, builds a nation, builds wealth.
Isn't that crazy that that's no secret? But yet we still get what we get.
and yet we are still why are they systematically declining our nation and manufacturing crisis to exacerbate the problem faster? And I think it could be the neo-feudalism thing, or just cover up their massive failures that are going to come from this economic system that we're living under. It could be either. It could be both.
It's like because it's unsustainable. So
we should just buy some goods.
Well, actually, before we head out, because I know it's getting late, I just wanted to talk briefly about it's a lighter subject, but also kind of sad. The passing of Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald, 61 years old, died of cancer. He was secretly battling cancer. Even most of his family didn't know that he had cancer.
I don't think anyone knew.
Which actually,
except one woman,
explained a lot about his kind of like
the show.
Well, the show or the last 10 years about it not being super consistent all the time.
Yeah.
Like him not doing it all the time and stuff. But Norm Macdonald, just for me personally, is and probably was my favorite comedian. Not even really because of his stand-up. His presence is it makes me laugh amazing. Like so much. Yeah. I mean, like the Norm Macdonald live show is probably my favorite period of Norm Macdonald. Oh. Even going all the way back to like Weekend Update. Like I grew up watching all that stuff. Oh. And
there's
what?
So there's a channel on YouTube called I'm Not Norm, and he like recycles clips, but every time you watch them, it's like brand new.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
It's like I don't know why that works, and only Norm Macdonald that works for me. So.
I just think it's a shame, and also inspiring.
I haven't even seen any of his stuff.
I mean, it is a particular type of humor. I would say he's very dry and he's just kind of like talks like, and his jokes are very not politically correct. And he got fired from Saturday Night Live because he refused to stop making fun of O.J. Simpson. Like refused. He kept making jokes about the O.J. Simpson stuff. And, he was a man of courage and a man of true conviction. And I think also he had principles and he refused to bend on those principles. And I think that's kind of the shame with the new age of comics, that we're seeing with like the vaccine stuff. Like I really like Tim Dillon, but it does put a bad taste in my mouth where you put profit over, like me personally. I'm not saying I'm judging him. I just say me personally, it does put a bad taste in my mouth.
I'm not saying that. I'm not going to say it.
Well, I would just say the Tim Dillon thing is because of how vociferously he actually speaks against those things. That's why it like strikes people as.
But isn't he vaccinated or no?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
But isn't like Theo Von kind of? I mean, I'm not saying he's nearly as funny or even as principled as Norm Macdonald, but Theo Von seems like a pretty chill dude.
I don't know.
Like I don't
just
think all is lost in that business, Dan. That's my point in saying.
And not to mention, I think Norm, the most masterful thing, his greatest joke, and I don't know if we consider a joke, his greatest performance, kind of like The Prestige, with the Asian guy with the fishbowl, and like he's like, hey, the real trick is he always has to walk like this, to be able to perform that trick, like because the old man, he was like an old man, he could barely walk. And Christian Bale's character points out, he's like, that's the trick. And that's really the greatest gift that Norm gave to both his family, his fans. No one had to suffer. There was, and he left crumbs for years along, like, he's like, hey, if I, I think it would be really admirable if someone had cancer and they just didn't tell any of their friends or family. He said that like 5 years ago or so, I think.
Well, yeah, and one of his better bits from like 5 or 6 years ago was him talking about dying of cancer. And people would say, oh, if you die of cancer, he lost the battle. He lost the battle with cancer.
Yeah.
And his response to that was, he's like, well, if you die, the cancer dies too. So to me, that's a draw. That's not that's not losing anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually, most celebrity deaths and stuff do not affect me at all. I really was sad. Like, I really bummed me out. I was like, it felt like a gut, but like I felt like I lost somebody I knew. It was really weird. Because I just respected him so much, and I appreciated his style of comedy and everything he was about. And he was very intelligent, well-read, principled person, like Dan said.
Also believed in God.
No, he became a man of faith in his later years. But he was still a fucking wild man. That's what I love. And I would encourage everybody out there to go check out his book, Norm Macdonald, based on a true story. This is one of the funniest things I have ever read. I actually even got the Audible book, which I've never listened to because he narrates it. And I thought it'd be a good way to revisit the book, but it is fucking hysterical. And it's even funnier if you're familiar with like the Norm Macdonald live show, because Adam Egget is a big character in the book. Being Adam Egget, it's great.
His Jew jokes those are so fucking good.
But
this guy doesn't believe in the Holocaust.
Do you guys want to end the show with a little short Norm clip here?
Yeah. Let's do it.
This is a simple joke, but I think it really encapsulates Norm Macdonald. Like going in, like he takes a long walk for a very simple punchline that you can't just help but laugh at. So, if you guys got your watch together screens up,
yeah. See like Mexican cages or videos.
What?
To keep the kids.
And Albert Fish was born on this day in New York City in 1870.
Do you know the obituaries is concerning me? I'm a little worried because people are dying in alphabetical order.
Who the fuck is Albert Fish?
What?
Who the fuck is Albert Fish?
Oh, Albert Fish?
I've never heard of that guy.
He was known as the Gray Man.
The Grain Man?
The Gray Man.
Grain.
The werewolf of Wisteria.
You
know why he was known as the Gray Man? Because he was a serial killer. He slayed children and ate them. He's a cannibal.
Uh-huh.
But when the police asked a woman to describe him, and she said he was gray in both appearances and demeanor. Very bad description.
This is like Arsenio when it was woo.
Yeah, woo.
But
anyways.
I'm pretending I know who Albert Gray is. I didn't.
No, Albert Fish.
Oh.
You're a New Yorker. So anyways, he was a child rapist and cannibal, as I explained.
When he says child rapist, you try not to laugh when he looks at you.
Oh, come on, man. It's not funny.
I know it's not, but I know you want people to laugh.
But Fish boasted that he had children in every state. Now, I would not boast about that. I don't think you would. I don't think you'd do it. But if you did do it, you certainly wouldn't boast about it. You'd take that to the grave with you. But he boasted.
They say they eventually all sing like a canary.
They do say that?
About murderers, right?
Yeah,
they brag to a friend.
Right.
When Norm bragged, sorry.
But Fish, this is interesting. Fish chose his victims. He only chose victims who were either mentally handicapped. Now, don't laugh at this next part, please.
You know he wants you to, right?
No. If you laugh at this next part.
Okay. And I'm not
Fish chose victims who were either mentally handicapped or African American. Oh, come on. Why would you think that's funny? God damn, Fred. Jesus Christ, that was the worst part of the story. Okay. But why do you think he did that? What would be the explanation? Why would he only attack? Why would his victims that he chose only be either mentally handicapped or African Americans?
Because people in those days didn't care when those people were vanished.
You're right. Thinking like Albert Fish now.
And prostitutes. That's why
That's right.
Prostitutes.
Exactly. Nobody really cares about prostitutes.
Well, it's like that comedian that would rape people at comedy club. No, in colleges.
Yes, Vince Champ.
They always said his great gimmick was that people would think who did it, and they never, because he'd go on to another town and another college, but when people say, what about the comic?
Yeah. Maybe the worst gimmick a comic ever had. But anyways, but you were exactly right. That's why Albert Fish killed only mentally handicapped and African Americans.
What about? Okay.
I thought you'd laugh at African Americans again, that they were.
No, because I know him. I know he'll do something. That's outrageous.
Well, it's kind of outrageous for you. But anyways, Fish tortured, mutilated, and murdered the youngsters. They were children. With a meat cleaver, a butcher knife, and a small hand saw.
Oh, Jesus.
God, you.
This is the topical portion?
Yeah.
This is the birthday.
And he solidified his reputation as the most vicious child slayer in criminal history.
Oh,
Though barely literate, Fish wrote taunting letters to the parents of his victims, gruesomely detailing how he slayed, butchered, cooked, and then with great enjoyment dined on their offspring. He would inevitably declare that a child's roasted rump was the most toothsome dish in all of gastronomy. Additionally, Fish was a masochist, get this, and he would insert wool doused with lighter fluid into his own anus and set it alight for his own enjoyment. Fish was finally arrested, and he immediately began confessing to killing 700 children.
Get out of here.
Yes, and he was dizzyingly happy about it. Smiled as he described the grisly details of the tortures and the murders, appearing to the detectives. And one of the detectives said he appeared as the devil himself. I mean, this guy was a real jerk.
Now I know there was no Albert Fish. Because I would have heard about that.
700.
Anyways, that's it. And maybe that would seem like a weird one to share, but that is a very Norm Macdonald to like.
Or the moth joke, the famous
moth joke, where he does the same thing with Hitler, where he's just like he says all these awful things that Hitler did, and he's like, "What a jerk, huh?"
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the best thing about it is when he tries to, then when he's getting back to the joke, he's like, "Well, listen here," like those little.
Yeah.
It's a loss, but honestly, he gave so much. You know,
he did. There's a lot of content out there.
There really is, and it is really. I really do respect him for not. I don't think I would have had the fortitude to go through something like that. God. Yeah, it's pretty brave. I mean, it really is brave. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, it is. Shit. Let's watch one more. It's 30 seconds.
Okay.
30 seconds, boys. This one's pretty funny. I think this shit's funny. Like I feel like a hack because I feel like most of my comedy is like rips off Norm Macdonald.
There you go.
It's not a hack. It's just inspiration.
Well, it's so ingrained in my DNA. It's weird.
Yeah.
This is my promise
Okay.
to the people of the video podcast network world. I will not eat a single morsel of food until Margaret Thatcher is dead and buried.
She died 3 weeks ago. We'll be right back with Larry King.
That's it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That's
Norm.
my favorite shit.
Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Good for him.
For sure.
You know, went out like a goddamn legend. Like
Really
it's
did.
literally the cherry on top of like a great career. Like this great, masterful.
Just to die. Just I don't know.
No, but like the way hey, every man dies, but not every man really lives. William Wallace. That's what he said. If you knew about things.
Well, if you have a golden ticket, you can get in the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. So
That's what they said. That's what I'm trying to get in. You know, I'm basically the grandfather from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Just
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one of us is Charlie?
Mike.
Mike is probably Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan would be.
Willy Wonka.
No, you would not be Willy Wonka. Norm would be Willy Wonka. Like Norm Macdonald would have been Willy Wonka.
Alan Fish would be Willy Wonka.
Maybe
Albert Fish. That would be that would have been a pretty good deal for Albert Fish if he was Willy Wonka.
Sounds like a good horror film. That sounds like a great horror film. Honestly.
Oh my goodness, hacker.
Waiting for it. Listen, it is what it is.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. This has been episode 100, the first and last ever episode 100 of Zoobox, a podcast about nonsense, much of which you have just heard. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Adios. Goodbye.